Celebrities in a nutshell.
Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady. Welcome back to Celebrities in a Nutshell, where we delve into the lives and legacies of influential figures from history. Today, we're exploring the life of Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady, who transformed British politics and left an indelible mark on the world stage. Join us for an in-depth look at her journey from a grocer's daughter to the first female Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Margaret Hilda Roberts was born on October 13, 1925, in the market town of Grantham, England. Raised in a modest household, her father, Alfred Roberts, was a grocer and a local politician. He instilled in her the values of hard work, self-reliance, and determination. These early influences would shape her character and political philosophy. Thatcher excelled academically, earning a scholarship to Somerville College, Oxford, where she studied chemistry. While at Oxford, she became involved in politics, serving as the president of the university's Conservative Association. After graduating, she worked as a research chemist before studying law and becoming a barrister. In 1951, Margaret married Denis Thatcher, a successful businessman who provided her with unwavering support. In 1959, she was elected as the Member of Parliament for Finchley, marking the beginning of her long and influential political career. She quickly rose through the ranks of the Conservative Party, earning a reputation for her tenacity and intelligence. In 1970, Thatcher was appointed Secretary of State for Education and Science under Prime Minister Edward Heath. Her decision to cut funding for free milk in schools earned her the nickname Margaret Thatcher, Milk Snatcher, but it also showcased her willingness to make tough and often unpopular decisions. In 1975, Thatcher made history by becoming the first woman to lead a major political party in the United Kingdom. 4 years later, she was elected Prime Minister, ushering in a new era of Conservative governance. Her victory was a landmark moment, not just for the Conservative Party, but for women in politics everywhere. Thatcher's tenure as Prime Minister was marked by sweeping economic reforms aimed at reducing the power of trade unions, privatizing state-owned industries, and promoting free market policies. These measures, collectively known as Thatcherism, were controversial but fundamentally reshaped the British economy. Let's take a deeper look at some of these key policies. Thatcher believed that reducing the state's role in the economy would lead to greater efficiency and prosperity. She implemented significant tax cuts, deregulated financial markets, and sold off numerous state-owned enterprises, including British Telecom, British Gas, and British Airways. These policies were designed to foster competition and innovation, but they also led to significant social and economic upheavals. One of the most contentious aspects of Thatcher's premiership was her confrontation with the trade unions. The miners' strike of 1984–85 was a defining moment, as Thatcher's government sought to close unprofitable coal mines and reduce the power of the National Union of Mine Workers. The strike was a bitter and protracted conflict, highlighting the deep divisions within British society. Thatcher's leadership was also tested on the international stage. In 1982, Argentina invaded the British-controlled Falkland Islands. Thatcher's decisive military response led to a swift victory and bolstered her political standing. The Falklands War reinforced her image as a strong and resolute leader. In 1982, Thatcher faced another significant international challenge, negotiating the future of Hong Kong. As the 99-year lease on the new territories was approaching its end in 1997, the fate of the British colony was uncertain. Thatcher traveled to Beijing to meet with Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping, marking a historic moment in Sino-British relations. During her visit, Thatcher engaged in complex negotiations with Deng Xiaoping. The talks were challenging, given the stark differences in political systems and the strategic importance of Hong Kong to both nations. Thatcher initially proposed retaining British administration while acknowledging Chinese sovereignty, but Deng insisted on full Chinese control. The negotiations culminated in the 1984 Sino-British Joint Declaration, an agreement that outlined the terms under which Hong Kong would be handed back to China in 1997. The agreement stipulated that Hong Kong would retain its capitalist system and way of life for 50 years after the handover, under the principle of one country, two systems. This was a landmark diplomatic achievement, balancing the interests of both nations and ensuring a stable transition for Hong Kong. Another defining aspect of Margaret Thatcher's premiership was her close alliance with the United States, particularly her strong relationship with President Ronald Reagan. The special relationship between the two leaders was founded on shared values and a mutual commitment to conservative principles. Thatcher and Reagan first met in 1975. While she was the leader of the opposition, he was the governor of California. Their rapport was immediate, and they found common ground on a wide range of issues, from economic policy to foreign affairs. When Reagan became president in 1981, their partnership solidified into one of the most famous political alliances of the 20th century. Thatcher and Reagan's relationship was characterized by mutual admiration and ideological alignment. Both leaders championed free market economics, deregulation, and a reduction in the power of the state. They worked closely on implementing conservative economic policies in their respective countries, often drawing inspiration from each other's successes. Their alliance was particularly significant during the Cold War. Thatcher and Reagan shared a staunch anti-communist stance and collaborated closely on strategies to counter the influence of the Soviet Union. They supported the deployment of intermediate-range nuclear forces in Europe and backed initiatives like the Strategic Defense Initiative, which aimed to develop missile defense systems. Thatcher's unwavering support for Reagan's policies and her own assertive foreign policy stance played a crucial role in the pressure exerted on the Soviet Union. Their combined efforts are often credited with contributing to the eventual collapse of the Soviet bloc and the end of the Cold War. Beyond their political partnership, Thatcher and Reagan also developed a deep personal friendship. They frequently communicated and consulted each other on key issues, and their mutual respect was evident in their interactions. This personal connection further strengthened the political alliance between the United Kingdom and the United States. Their correspondence revealed the depth of their bond. They exchanged letters and gifts, and their notes often contained warm and affectionate language. This personal dimension of their relationship reinforced the strong diplomatic and strategic ties between their countries. Thatcher's admiration for Reagan endured long after both had left office. She spoke fondly of him in her memoirs and public speeches, describing him as a great president and a true friend. When Reagan passed away in 2004, Thatcher delivered a heartfelt eulogy, reflecting on their shared legacy and the enduring impact of their partnership. In her eulogy, Thatcher said, "Ronald Reagan won the Cold War without firing a shot." Her words encapsulated the profound respect and gratitude she felt for her American counterpart. Their alliance had not only shaped their nations but also left a lasting mark on global history. The Thatcher-Reagan alliance remains one of the most iconic partnerships in modern political history. Together, they championed a vision of free market capitalism, strong national defense, and individual liberty. Their policies and leadership styles continue to influence conservative thought and political strategy worldwide. Despite her achievements on the international stage, Thatcher's later years in office were marked by growing unpopularity. The introduction of the community charge, commonly known as the poll tax, was highly controversial and sparked widespread protests across the country. The tax was seen as regressive, placing a heavier burden on the poor and middle class. The poll tax riots of 1990 were a clear indication of the public's dissatisfaction. Thousands took to the streets in protest, leading to violent clashes with the police. This period of unrest significantly weakened Thatcher's political position. Facing mounting opposition from within her own party and the public, Thatcher was challenged for the leadership of the Conservative Party. In November 1990, after failing to secure a decisive victory in the first ballot, she announced her resignation as Prime Minister. Her emotional farewell speech marked the end of an era. Thatcher's resignation was a poignant moment in British political history. She had served as Prime Minister for over a decade, leaving behind a complex legacy of economic transformation and social division. In her post-political life, Thatcher remained an influential figure. She published her memoirs, The Downing Street Years and The Path to Power, offering insights into her time in office and her political philosophy. She continued to give speeches and participate in public debates, maintaining her presence on the global stage. Thatcher received numerous accolades and honors throughout her life, including becoming a member of the Order of the Garter and being awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by the United States. These honors reflected the high regard in which she was held by many, despite the controversies surrounding her policies. In her later years, Thatcher's health began to decline. She suffered a series of small strokes and was diagnosed with dementia. On April 8, 2013, Margaret Thatcher passed away at the age of 87. Her death prompted a wave of reflection and debate about her legacy. Thatcher's funeral was a significant event, attended by dignitaries and leaders from around the world. The service, held at St. Paul's Cathedral, was a moment of reflection on the life of a woman who had profoundly shaped British politics and society. Margaret Thatcher's legacy is a subject of ongoing debate. To her supporters, she was a transformative leader who revived the British economy, restored national pride, and stood firm against the Soviet Union. To her critics, she was a polarizing figure whose policies exacerbated social inequalities and eroded the welfare state. Regardless of one's perspective, there's no denying that Thatcher's impact on British politics and global affairs was profound. Her tenure as Prime Minister changed the course of British history, and her influence can still be felt today. Thank you for joining us on this comprehensive journey through the life and legacy of Margaret Thatcher. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Celebrities in a Nutshell for more in-depth explorations of historical figures and events. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What other leaders or historical moments would you like us to cover next? Let us know in the comments below. Special thanks to our subscribers and viewers. Your support makes these explorations possible. Stay curious and keep learning with us.